dark light within people, and they speak a truth. But we have to learn how to filter out that, like, with all the baggage towards, like, really the silence is like, because that's where I learned what truth is. Like, when it comes to, like, trying to explain to somebody, it's like whenever somebody asks, what is truth to you or whatever, right? I'm like, dude, silence. Like, because that's where all the, like, from the ether and shit, you can actually hear your heart instead of hearing your, like, the noisiness in the brain, like blah, 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 blah. So it's kind of like shutting that out and hearing the internal nothingness that's everything.
And it's so funny because as soon as you focus solely on the heart, you're already hearing something. So it's already,
you can feel it through bro, when you really focus on the heart, you feel it through your whole system.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The heartbeat, the pulse,
the space in between.
Feels good.
For me to hear the heart, I usually have to mess with my breath a little bit, like actually increase my oxygen and exhale a little bit, and then then kick out the exhale to be slower.
Have anybody studied the breath? Like, does anybody study the breath?
I do some breath work.
Huh? I'll talk that one time. What did y'all say? Go one at a time.
Do you mean like breath work?
No, I mean the study of breath in itself. Like studying breath. Literally. Like,
I've heard of it, but no, I haven't really touched
it. Okay.
You know who we would need perfectly for this like a whole conversation on this would be Christopher Knox. He'll break it down into a medical term that'll just
bring the doctor in.
Yeah, we do. All right, that'd be good. Because I study it, and I still to this day study it. But what it seems, a lot of the yogis and a lot of the different systems of breathing, it all comes down to the holding of the breath. So when you get into breath work and you do that hold of the breath, you like, if you've done it, you notice that you kind of open up gates.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like you literally open up gates, the internal map.
And for sure, the tingles get more intense too. That's where you get it in your eyes.
Then you hold that shit and you close your eyes. It's like you're traveling into different places of your body that you haven't been before.
Dude, I had that experience yesterday. I took a big breath and I started not electrifying, but like energy kind of like impulse.
No, that's what it is. Because fire,
each part of the body. I'm like,
what you're taking in is that fire, that, like, the solar, the energy. And like the way that the book that I read is, he explains fire in the internal way being electric. So you think of it as electrical fluids, you know what I'm saying, that's going through your body. It's mostly in the mind, like circuits, like, but also in the solar chakra, a lot of fiery energy there too. And that's why I said, once we learn how to really be the alchemists of learning how to, like, use the elements within us to affect outside of us, and it's not manipulating at all, because really it's already something that's you, if that makes sense. So it's like understanding yourself more and more, to the point to where you can move these elements to benefit your health. Really, that's really what it is. It all comes down to the health. And once you can hear your body more, like, instead of like the mind, instead of the ego getting in the way of shit, and kind of hearing your body. That's why yoga is good, because it puts you in the breath work of, like, hearing what parts of your body you need more energy flowing. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that is. You're right. It's not you when you said I feel, electrified or something like that. It's because you're bringing in that vital energy, and it. The more you could expand your awareness. That's why I said, pay attention to that expansion shit, because the more you can expand your awareness of that element, you could do things, what we would call miracles. You know what I'm saying? But it's magic.
Yeah.
But you have to be aware and expand the, like, awareness. Just remember that word, expansion, because it's gonna, like, play out.
I'm trying to think in my head what field of alchemy that falls into too, because it is also, you can also break it down into alchemy.
And Sonny, did you watch that full video you posted?
Yeah, actually, that's
So that's
from
what I
my
was talking
teachings.
about. Like, remember when I had the experience with my heart? Remember when I talked about
But when you found the
how I
little one
jumped
that was
inside my
underneath,
heart and had this crazy and I thought it was home. I thought it was spirit. Like they talked about that in the Alchemist thing, and it talks about being led to go or bringing your root to your crown and activating some shit and fucking basically there's this gem in the heart that what different cultures and different people talk about as a crystal that lays in the heart, and it's a little small, and some people call it philosopher's stone. It's in the heart, like, but you have to it's almost like you have to open up these different gates or have these different keys to even order to get there.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you say that because there's another chakra when you say another chakra that they talk about, and it's another part. It's actually in your head.
The zeal point. Is it the zeal point?
Yeah, zeal point. Yeah, the zeal point. And there's another one in the heart. I remember we were going over this about a year ago, and I guess it's
it's another heart chakra thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that shit's it's interesting, man.
It's one thing reading it, but feeling is a whole other thing. It's like
it's like the logic. It's like I can't explain to you my experience. Like I can the best the way, but it's something that everybody has to kind of experience for themselves. And I wanted to go over this thing today. I guess if y'all want, we can meet another day out the week today, because I'm getting more, if you could not tell, more motivated and getting back into my flow and shit. So I'm getting the Instagram account back from Ines so I can start kind of trying to reach people there with Lyft, because I want at least 5 to 10 people when the 7-day activation goes out. That's my goal.
Well, if you start posting on Living in the Heart Instagram, I'll start putting it on my stories.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I need to just start reaching people. And the thing about it, that's what I'm gonna go over today with y'all, is a magical way to bring members back to the community. So there's a whole video about it that I wanted to watch with y'all, and we kind of wasted 30 minutes of our time talking about the reading and other stuff. So if y'all want to meet on Wednesday or Thursday, later in the day though, because I know Sonny, you work, and we might have stuff going on. But
the only thing I mean, it could be, if it's a movie, I was thinking about doing something on Gaia. It could be on movie night, Thursday movie night, if you're moving that day.
Okay, yeah. Okay, we could do like that.
Good, yeah.
We could do that.
Yeah, use our events for our own good, right? It's not manipulating. It's already there. It's already
so yeah, because I think that will help us, because once we all watch that, then we could kind of start brainstorming on how we're gonna approach that situation. It all has to start from somewhere. So once we do that, we'll kind of start thinking, how can we make this where we kind of got to put ourselves in the member's shoes and be like, all right, we step into Lyft and we start reading it. Oh, wow. We got to bring that to ourselves and then kind of lay it out, So we'll do that. Me and John have been working on the 7-day. It's coming together really, really nice.
What day are you guys working on?
Right now, we're only on 2 because, we have the correspondences for what we're doing each day, but we just need to lay it out. So basically what we're doing right now is putting the pictures up, putting the information up. And then once we get that, which is kind of what I've been doing, John will go and kind of organize it to where it's not so much of a paragraph of a bunch of nonsense, or not nonsense, but a bunch of information. And we kind of
make it so it's not so dense.
Highlights, a highlight.
And making everything fonty, basically where the font fits the picture. The colors fit the picture, making it real nice for y'all. So it should be cool, man. And people are excited. I talked to a couple people and they're excited, but the thing is are these people going to pay? Because it's going to go with the first tier membership, and which is going to cost. And to bring more value for the people, I was gonna do the journal journeying thing, where we bring our journals that we've been journeying our whole life, and we express it to people that might, like, you never know, we might connect with somebody that has some kind of answer we've been looking for towards our journal. You know what I'm saying? And it's only been waiting to be expressed. That was the only thing that's the key we were missing, you know? So, and we'll tell people too, John, if you could help me too with the description on what the journal journeying is, and we'll say something like, you know, you don't have to like tell us everything, like only what you're comfortable expressing from your journal.
Well, that
because
actually
I got shit in my journals. What happened, Sonny?
That runs right in with one of my goals right now too, because you guys know I'm making a grimoire journal. That's literally artistic journaling.
Yeah, same.
Or spiritual.
Like get in, because I just learned about this mirror. It's a mirror method, they call it. And basically, one side you'll draw a line, and one side would be like the dark aspects of you, and then the other side would be the light aspects of you. And basically, anything that pops up, you would write this down so that you can know yourself more. And the darker sides of yourself is really the point of it, of the writing down, because it's kind of like anything when something pops up, oh, like, damn, I get real judgmental when it comes to these kind of things. You know what I'm saying? You write that down, boom. Even meditations, like, oh, I get interrupted when this happens. Like, the more you can shadow work through the journal of doing things like this, the more you understand yourself, and the more you can accept yourself, because it's not you subconsciously reacting off impulses that trigger like energy systems in your body that trigger from subconscious memory. You know what I'm saying? So that's why the journal will come into play. And the more and more and more you do this, you can even take it further, bro. This is what I learned through the book. You can start taking this dark and light aspects to elements. So like, it's like, I have to read through the book, but if like you have some kind of like problem, it's due to an element. Everything is due to elements. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was trying to break it down with the fire and water, how fire is more of an expansion. Because when you think about fire, it starts, you know what I'm saying? Starts spreading and shit like a wildfire. It expands. So, but it also has its polarity. So we also have to think about that too. Like, like, how's it contrast? You know what I'm saying? Which fire, to me,
that's interesting. Yeah,
it's really interesting. That's what an alchemist is, though.
Yeah,
is learning how to see the angle or the situation or the element or whatever, and use it from both polarities, but into one. So what?
It's funny. I'm thinking about fire now. It's the spark, and there's the flame, then the ember, and then the final smoke.
Yeah, but it all correlates to all the other elements. But we see it separately. That's what I was trying to say earlier. It's like they're all one, but we somehow from the ego, left brain, right brain, see them as separate, you know. But they all, of course, like ice. Think about ice. Water turns into ice. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it turns into a solid.
Yeah, it's really crazy about ice too. When it contracts, like, you know, it's getting colder, right? It contracts.
Then
it becomes lighter. It floats on top of liquid water. So it's
so we need to start thinking about these things, bro. Like, because it all correlates like to our internal self. It's just like a replica of all this shit. It's just a replica of our internal selves. We know that, but now we need to start using the elements within. Like, how is the elements working inside of ourselves? If we know, think about this, is to take it even further. All right, you go into water, you go by water, you go by rivers, you go to the ocean, you get negative ions in the body system. That's the negative, that's the feminine, that's the, you know what I'm saying? So like, then we got positive. What are positive ions? Direction, movement. Wind is a positive ion. You know what I'm saying? So when we start thinking fucking thunder and electricity, bro, like coming down and it hits the earth and it sends the earth is its container. So what if really it's sending the earth information? You know what I'm saying? Like the masculine hitting the feminine. Like that's how we got to start seeing everything, bro. Because
dude,
everything
lightning is like, if you look at lightning that way, that is so alchemical. It's so sexual alchemical because yeah, it's positive, negative, it's sky and earth, it's male, female, and then you look at it, the way it works is you got like positive, negative ions like that, and when they go to like this, they don't exactly touch, they pass like this and become 50-50, which is like alchemy, it's sexuality, it's spirituality. That's what you want, is that 50-50. Boom, I'm unified, I am whole, I am pure. Like that is just so cool to think about. That was like, whoa, my mind went crazy.
That's what we need to like come to realization within the marriage within ourselves between masculine and feminine, which is gonna happen.
There's another fascinating thing about lightning, true lightning, not man-made lightning, but lightning that comes up. Everybody thinks because the way you see it flash, it comes down from the cloud down, right? However, if you take the frames down slow enough, you'll actually see the spark actually comes from the earth reaching up to the sky before the initial flash.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just another example of like they're both the same to different degrees, So it's like you could see like the way we perceive the lightning is like coming down, but when you, like you said, when you slow it down so slow to where really the eye can't even perceive because it's so slow, like the frames of it, that it's actually doing both.
Yeah.
And but we're like ignorant to that, I guess you could say.
That's
so
really
cool.
It's like a reality.
That's so cool because in Kabbalic, the earth signifies the female, the feminine, the fertile feminine earth. The sky is, the masculine male, the assertive. But they straight up say that in order for life and for creation, the female has to be open and welcoming. It has to say, hey, to the male, you are welcome here. So it has to, they say, has to reach out with its arms. So when you describe the fact that the electrons go up first, it reaches up to welcome the lightning before the lightning can come down. And that's so freaking magical. That's so freaking cool.
Yeah, that's all like
boom.
Earlier in your class, bro, like when you talk about Lucifer and shit, like I'm like, damn, that's everything that I've been going over. Like it's almost like that's why everything's connected. That's why synchronicities happen, it's because like everything's connected. So it's like
that happened with this one and the last class I was in. We were talking about none, right? The thing about suffering, getting experience out of it. Like I've been going through some crazy stuff lately, and that also synchronizes onto with today's lesson, right? It's like I don't know. It's because you like after you go through some struggles, you actually like open up more, to
it takes that.
Yeah, it's ironic
because you need to see
like,
both. You need to see both sides of yourself. Like we don't accept the ugly of ourselves. That's the main part we need to do. We need to accept that. Like
like when you were talking at the beginning, like when you want to take the elements, right, and work with them, like what you were talking in the beginning, right? Like having to work with the feminine more around this age, right? That's what I'm saying. Like once you open up to you got that big whole, world full of elements. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I'll be trying to explain to people.
Yeah, you gotta find that balance so you can structure all that you're looking at. I see what
Try
you're
not
saying,
to look at it. Try not to look at it as balance, because the way Chris explains it is when balance happens, the energy becomes stagnant. But what you want to do is make them harmonious to where they flow from back
go
to
with
back.
And really,
I feel that. It's a dance. It's a dance. It's dancing with the devil.
And the more we work with, I feel that.
I love the dance with the devil saying
I'm just saying, depending on the person, because each one has a different way of thinking, right? Or trying to get into that vibe.
Yeah.
So everybody has a different. So they do gotta find some kind of balance between their beliefs and what they're feeling, So they gotta find it. They still gotta find it though. But I feel what you're like. We gotta find that to work, with the impossible. I feel that though.
Yeah, fucking. Yeah, man, y'all get ready because this Aquarius shit, Like you could see it. Like
I
we've been
see
seeing,
it.
you know, it's like the world is coming more open to that, you know, transcend. What do they call it?
This guy,
Transcendent,
we just
like
gotta be ready
where
for
the
it.
man is a woman too and shit or whatever. And you can see more and more as the years go, like that is more expressed and more like open to the public and shit. And it's because of that zodiac star constellation we're in right now. Like it's as above so below, you know. So it's like whatever is radiating from the stars is radiating in us, you know. So people are expressing this outwardly now, you know. And it's such a like when I'm expressing it like this because it's such a trip to me that like that the age of Pisces was doing that. Like I knew about the fishes, but I wasn't and I looked at it as masculine and feminine, but to look at it as like we've been like fighting ourselves
Been
pretty
divided.
much, and we always think. That's what it was. Like
Yeah, two
we're
sides.
always getting our ass eaten out by ourselves because we can't accept the feminine aspect of ourselves.
We're too
We
logical.
always
Yeah.
need to have the logical, like,
Yeah, masculine has been completely toxic and in control and been like way
and
over
that's how it can
assertive.
get if we don't use the feminine. You know what I'm saying? It's like the masculine needs to be used. We need to direct. We need the logic. You know what I'm saying? But if we fucking get too much into it, we
Yeah, we're not
become
getting more
toxic.
information. We don't see. We don't open up doors. We don't see.
Yeah, we're
Getting
not
information.
receptive, which is what the feminine
Exactly.
is. So yeah, man, this was a great. I've been
But
wanting
that,
to talk to y'all about this. What I've been learning, like with the fire and the water and shit. Like
no, I love it because like you said, it synchronizes, man. Like what we're
they,
talking about here is I can
the book I'm
resonate
reading,
a
it
lot
talks about
lately.
that's really the only two elements. He said the other two are really not necessarily elements. It's weird
Mhm.
because
Yeah,
the fire
Kabbalah
and the
says
water are
that
the only
too.
things that come from like from nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like
It's
it's
funny
like
because when you draw a Merkaba or like the Star of David, because it's basically the fire and the water together, and then when you the offshoots or the second product of them both are the
the
I
air
don't
and
know,
the
you call
earth.
it the L's. Or this I don't know. I
The
wouldn't want to
saying
call them
the
lesser,
saying is
like
that
they're
the
like sub
air
elements or something like that. The transit. I don't know how to explain it really well.
the air is the bridge. Like the
Yeah.
air brings the fire and the water together. So,
Air.
and then the earth is the container that holds them all. So it's like when you look at it in the internal, like, so the water is like what
Navel. That's
the
a
navel, and then you got the fire, and then you got the earth at the root, and then the air, the heart's the air. This is something that I came to realization when I was a kid. I was studying the chakras and I said, holy shit. I don't know why. I was telling my cousin, I was like, I don't know why, but I think the heart has something to do with air. And now there's confirmation and shit all over the world about it. So like when you think about the heart and air, what is the heart doing in the chakra internally in the body? Can y'all answer that?
Yeah, spraying H2O.
What is it? What is the heart? It's the what?
It
I
pumps
call it the
H2O.
union between the truth and the
blood.
or the
Yes, it's the union. It's the bridge.
Yeah,
it's the air
blood.
between the fucking fire and water.
It's literally mixing blood and the air together so it can oxygenate your body.
Yeah, and oxygenated and all that. So it's like that's why I said try to just start like it might not happen like that, but everything that we have been corresponding to like external of ourselves, like when it comes to elements, try to start looking at all that inside and see how it relates. Like see how all this shit outside is happening. Because it's happening from inside of ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So when you see it, it's like, oh, it's so magical. It's like, whoa, what the fuck? They even are finding out about something in the brain, how like when you get to that pineal gland thing, there's some kind of wound that they found. And they say it looks identical to a womb, to the actual womb itself.
Dude,
So it's like,
Kabbalah, dude. It's amazing. You got a 13,000-year-old Kabbalah system that says the same damn thing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
It
The
just
mind
reminds me
is
of how
shit,
much things
man.
we've been lost throughout the ages.
There had to have been advanced people that were like, oh yeah, we already knew all that shit, and then smack down to the
Oh,
Stone
that's
Age.
what they're finding out too. So you know how they say, oh, these pyramids were found in 11,000 BC, whatever year they say, right? So now they're finding out that it's even older.
Well, just look how
Don't
crazy
surprise me.
according to our history, right? It's all we started off with great civilization and then just got dumb. It's like, what happened? Like something had to get lost around there. I mean, you can always argue history's always written by the victor and all that, but it's how much is that intentional and how much is being suppressed? It gets into the whole cosmology section of our network.
Well, if people could really understand, like, I guess they have to have something happen for them to believe it. But if people can really understand to go inside, we don't need none of this. We really don't. All these things are tools, and like, this is the temple. You know what I'm saying? So like, everything is within the temple. Everything outside of us is almost like, this is attachments, really. When you learn to drop these things and use your actual body as a fucking altar, that's where the power comes. Like,
I almost
for
thought
real.
of a name for a space.
That's the fucking
temple space or something. I don't know.
Oh, we got some little sparks going on.
I'm feeling it. It's a body temple, body altar. I mean, like that could be a whole new space.
Creativity juices.
Yeah.
Because I know just in T minus how many days we're going to be having that whole thing at our disposal. So we're going to have to figure out how we're going to do that with our content and whatever new comes our way. So I'm just like, temple space kind of has a nice little. I might be banging off or rifting off of JoJo a little bit because he had the Temple of Flow.
Yeah.
So
but you know what I learned, bro? This is pretty deep, but I'm gonna say it because y'all are a part of my team. When it comes to being like a leader or just like getting things done, sometimes you got to take people's ideas because that.
I call
no,
those
this
references.
Is dead ass, bro.
References.
If you see the successful people, these people, it's not their ideas, bro. These people took people's ideas and actually put them into work, because these people have these ideas, but they don't do nothing with them. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's like, who are those people who get the ideas and actually take action to ground the fantasy into reality? You know what I'm saying? That's really the real, in my perception.
So are you saying people that get the idea or come up with the idea are kind of like the comma in a sentence? It's something that gets your attention, takes a pause, and then moves forward, or
yeah. No, and that just kind of reminded me of what John was talking about with the semen today, about how we ejaculate and then it just goes.
Satan.
Right? It's like so much power, so much euphoria, so much energy, and then
dissipates.
That's this too. That's creativity too. Like, that's why I was talking about the impulses. How if we react off the impulses with our energy, we get so excited and we use the energy towards what we're trying to do, but then it goes. It's because we didn't let the energy build up. We just kind of like got it and and it disappeared. Same with right? Don't it sound like the semen analogy thing you were talking about?
Yeah,
it's on point.
It's energy. That's why it's all energy. We have to learn how to start transmuting it. For I really need to get this through my own head and through y'all's, because that's the key. That's the key to get to higher, whatever we're looking for, really. But whatever we seek, we're gonna find. But in order to really get into the heart of it, we have to transmute that energy. And it's the semen. It's the that's what it is. I really don't know how to explain it, but I'm so glad, John, for that class today, because that's what I had, bro. That class today, you don't understand. That really opened up so many doors for me, because I've been trying to understand why why do I feed this desire so much? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is one of the strongest desires. Like, and when you think about it, it's one of the strongest emotions too. And when we have sex, we get the strongest emotion. You know what I'm saying? So we need to learn how to start using that energy,
Yeah.
bro, instead of like wasting it or like being an
Yeah, like be more responsible with it. I like to
yeah,
see it that way.
being
Ancient
Be more
more
Egyptians
responsible.
said that,
Not only hold it back, but know when to apply it.
well, ancient Egyptians were said to be able to were able to master the sexual energy. That's what that whole onking
that's what it
idea.
is, yeah. It
I mean,
is
they
because
started talking about it in the Merkaba activation, but there was just, don't get me wrong, it's perfectly great. There's just so much going on in that thing. You missed the initial teaching. That's where they got the that's actually alchemy in itself as well. It's learning how to.
yeah, that's what led to gold.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking, but it's a lot of will. It takes a lot of will.
Yeah, hell yeah, man.
And that's what I've been building. Like, so the class today it helped me build it so much. Like, that's why I'm like thankful, because it helped me understand like why I was like, I'd be like, damn, I need to stop. You know what I'm saying? But I'll keep, it's almost like feeding it more. Me trying to stop it, it was feeding it more. But it's the acceptance of like,
Yeah, just having the willpower to think of something else.
it's the
Just think
acknowledge,
something
like the
else.
knowledge of knowing that the energy has to be transmuted. It's knowing that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's what's
Just
getting me to like be able to stop like wasting my energy. Because that's what it is. It's like giving your power to, and you're not even giving your power to nothing really. Like, I mean, to the individual feminine, her, but like when you learn to like transmute it, you can actually give it. So when I'm saying that, I mean like when you give it to the other, like the other individual, and she gives it back, that's sexual healing. But both parties have to be on that wave, you know. So if they're not, then you could practice it yourself. That's what I'm trying to get to. It's like you have to, like, whenever those urges come, you use that to go to higher densities and shit. So that's what I've learned about that. Like, that shit is really important, man, because we're wasting our energy, like our power.
Yeah, and being totally